cuts in Social Security into a discussion about our deficit and our national debt is absolutely wrong, unfair to the tens of millions of seniors and people with disabilities who benefit from that program. As you know, Mr. President, as the American people know, Social Security is independently funded through the payroll tax. Every worker, every employer contributes into that fund. And Social Security today has a $2.6 trillion.
So why is Joe Manchin and everybody holding back our stimulus payments? Do you believe that he should do a better job in sending us stimulus checks? Tell me in the comments down below. Checks are going to be sent out this year, and President Biden is going to do all that it takes to send out the fourth stimulus check.
My bipartisan infrastructure law includes the largest investment in our nation's bridges since the creation of the interstate highway system. Bridges to connect us, bridges to make America work. Across our country right now, there are 45,000 bridges, 45,000 that are in poor condition.
And real quick, everybody, do you believe that President Biden is doing all that it takes to send out these stimulus check payments? Let me know your thoughts on this. So in this video, I'm going to be bringing you updates on the current developments and progress on the fourth stimulus check. There's actually a ton of news and many changes are being made to President Biden's bill. Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer are making some big moves for the fourth stimulus checks to be approved. I'll be going over all of this important information in this video, so you want to be sure to stay tuned.
Visit a bridge where, if it's not upgraded, weight restrictions could mean that school buses and fire trucks would have to travel an additional 10 miles out of the way to get to the other side of the river.
Everybody, Oregon Democrats are reviving a proposal to provide essential workers who stayed on the job throughout the crisis a one-time stimulus check of up to $1,000. Workers are going to be eligible for the bonus if they worked an average of at least 20 hours per week in person from April to December of 2020, and if they made less than $22 an hour. If you qualify for this, then be sure to contact the state, because you want to be sure to receive this extra stimulus money. Because like I said, folks, stimulus checks are going out, stimulus payments are being made, and there's a lot of folks in this country that are missing out on receiving the stimulus checks, all because they didn't watch this video and other videos in this community. There's a Democratic representative that said that lawmakers are still seeking clarification from the Employment Department on the number of workers who could qualify for payments. This proposal is a smaller version of a bill that Democratic lawmakers sent out last spring. It's going to provide essential workers up to $2,000 in stimulus payments and provide a $1,200 payment to unemployed people in the state of Oregon. Lawmakers who were unable to push that bill over the finish line are still talking about sending out checks, are still talking about sending out stimulus payments in 2022. For instance, funding for the stimulus payments could come from federal funds that the American Rescue Plan and the state government have done. It has been reported that funding could support payments of up to $1,000, and that's going to go a long way for many people. Don't you guys agree? Still, everybody, the IRS is having a difficult time right now, and the IRS had more than 11 million unprocessed tax returns that was left over from the most challenging tax year taxpayers have ever experienced, and it will begin the upcoming filing season already behind. So according to a report from the National Taxpayer Advocate, the processing delays could be as bad and potentially worse this year. The crisis created new challenges for the agency and brought on additional work. Congress has tasked at the IRS with sending out billions of dollars in economic relief and benefits like the stimulus payments. So it's official, the IRS is actually behind on sending out stimulus payments, and that's not very good. We gotta see them send out checks that people need. Treasury Department officials have also warned that earlier in the week that taxpayers could experience delays this year when they file their 2021 tax returns. The IRS will start accepting them on Monday, January 24th, and as of mid-December, the agency had 8.6 million unprocessed tax returns and more than 3 million business returns left over from last year. It also had nearly 5 million pieces of unanswered mail. So when taxpayers had a question, they had enormous difficulty connecting with someone at the IRS that could help them out. Customer service representatives only answered about 11% of the roughly 282 million phone calls that the IRS received last year. People were asking for stimulus checks and tax refunds, but nobody was able to help them out. And it's very sad to see, everybody. But just know this, President Biden said he is working on this, and I'm going to take his word. I think he's actually doing what it takes. I do hope that he does what it takes and sends out more stimulus payments, because it's definitely going to help many people out this year.
Or our national debt. So the idea of lumping Social Security and
proposal with the help of the Republicans and the Democrats in Congress. But that is very unlikely considering the fact that this stimulus bill is $1.9 trillion. It's already gained backlash from several Republicans in Congress, including Senator Mitt Romney and, of course, Senate Majority Leader, or the previous Senate Majority Leader, Mitch McConnell. And Senator Angus King, one of the independents in Congress, told NPR on Monday, "There's a lot of money and this is not monopoly money. We're borrowing this money from our grandchildren." He suggested that the country cannot afford more relief and is what expected to help exacerbate and prolong the damage caused by the 2008 financial crisis. Now, if Biden's $1.9 trillion stimulus bill is approved by March, that means 10 million jobs will be added by the fall of 2022. That's according to Moody. That's enough to return the labor market to its pre-pandemic levels. Additionally, over 11.6 million people would be lifted out of poverty in 2021. Now the Senate is expected to begin debating Biden's relief plan next week. And Democrats are also readying the reconciliation process, which would allow them to pass more of the relief provisions with only 51 votes in the Senate. Now folks, you have to know that Schumer told reporters on Tuesday that the first step to pursuing stimulus relief legislation to reconciliation would be to pass a budget resolution. I informed senators to be prepared that a vote on a budget resolution could come as early as next week. What do you think, folks? Could Congress pass its third stimulus check of $1,400? Tell me down in the comments. Now, for those of you who have not received a $600 or even $1,200 stimulus check, listen up, folks, because this is going to get very important. If you did not receive the full payment for the first or the second round of stimulus checks, you can claim it as a recovery rebate credit when you file your 2020 taxes. Your tax returns are due by April 15th if the IRS does not extend the deadline. The IRS has yet to announce when it will begin accepting 2020 tax returns. Now, if you received no payments but were eligible for the stimulus checks, you'll be able to claim the credit. In other words, for married couples where one person has a social security number. Under the CARES Act, joint returns of couples where only one spouse had an SSN were ineligible for the first round of stimulus checks. Well, because of new $900 billion stimulus bill passed in December, they can claim the first payment when filing their taxes. Now here's how to claim it, everybody. If you received any payment at all, you'll have to list the amount you have on your notice 1444. That's a form that shows the amount of the economic impact payment you received, and include it when completing tax forms 1040 or 1040 SR. And here's the latest news surrounding your Social Security benefits. Beginning January 21, clients who have an overpayment are no longer receiving